Thank you so much, Ignaz. Thank you to my co-speakers, Reid and George. It was amazing work. And you can see my screen, right? And we welcome all of the people who are seeing this. Thank you for spending time and learning new things. So today's session is more about workflows in architecture, and we're going to be more focused on construction documentation, which the previous tools were mostly on the pre-design and schematic design. And we're going to touch base on the design development and construction documentation. About the workflow, anything that's step by step, we call it workflow. So something starts from one point, goes to the next part, then goes to evolve and go to next part is workflow. To get something done, it can be anything. And we've seen some paradigm shifts on workflows. The first one was when the people could start reprinting stuff. So the techniques came out after the reproduction started and blueprints could be generated. That was a time that we could see people started, architects start cutting and pasting, and the parts that they want to revise makes it easier. And the next shift was when the CAD introduced and adopted by the architects and engineers. Um, Instead of like just using pen and paper, then going to print shop and cut and paste, you start doing on computer much more efficient, and you could start doing some small macros to make things faster, and more tools get generated. But still was one page. It was only focusing on only floor plan or only elevation or only section. And the next shift was when BIM introduced, and the nice thing about BIM is that when you change something, the revision that you make is more, if you set it up well, it's gonna be on the whole building information. It's gonna be change the takeoff, they change the number of doors you need to buy on the table. And the floor plan and the elevation section, everything changes together. So revision gets easier. And what we see right now as AI era, which even is one step forward. You just think, type, and things happen. So learning curves is way easier and things are smoother. We have some graphs that is very helpful to look at it. So what we've seen in this era, the hand drawings like pre-reproduction is like been here for thousands of years. From the moment that people start building and doing construction, that has been there. Then the reproduction, CAD, BIM, AI, and the first one is the revision time. So as you can see, the revision times get smaller, and faster and easier. But on the other hand, it gets harder to learn these tools. So hand drawing was easiest, then the reproduction was cut and paste, put the tape and reprint it. Then CAD came, people start learning CAD. I know architects, that engineers, and I work with them, is still using hand drawing. So they couldn't adopt, and they're not that old, they're like on their 60s, 70s. So they could not turn to using CAD because they were very professional. What they're doing, they're still doing hand drawings. Then BIM came, and I know a lot of people they didn't like to adopt the BIM, and companies they're not still using BIM. Larger companies, I've seen them, and because it got even harder. But on the AI, what we can see, anybody on any age can use it very easy. So it becomes to the point that if you can type, you can get the documents out. And on the other hand, when the tool gets easier, we see the creativity gets better. So the quality of the building, quality of the design gets higher because you have more time in your hands. So you want to do something better. You're not plugged with a tool that's very hard to deal with. Um, on the next slide, we're going to talk about the construction workflow, which is basically what we are talking on this session. And we have the PD or pre-design, most is programming and planning, which Dodo touch base on this very nice tool, very sophisticated tool can generate this. Then we have schematic design, or we call it SD, and SD is mostly you're gonna know what you want. It's more like shapes. You have the square footages, but you want to see how it looks. Which George touched base on this part. Then we have have design development and construction documents. So design development is more, okay, you have all of those thinking and creativity, you want to bring it on the layout and plan and start making it more tangible. And construction document is very detailed. Construction documents for people who are want to have an easier explanation is a booklet that lets contractor put the building together. Okay, you put the foundation first. This is how you connect things together. And construction documents are much needed for any construction anywhere in the world, and it's very, very time consuming. So we're gonna come to time wise and how things are changing, evolving right now. Pre-BIM, which means AutoCAD, hand drawing, reproduction, where they were similar process. All of these stages was very defined. But after the 10% was pre-designed, then schematic design SC was 20% of time was allocated to that, DD and CD, and the pricing and getting paid in the architecture and engineering companies, pre-design companies, was very similar. So they were like charging based on the allocation of those time. But when BIM introduced, the DD and CD kind of get together. It's very hard to define and point, okay, my DD is done, now I want to do CD. Before we could do, okay, the design, we have another department. I used to work somewhere that the department of design was separate than CD, and there were more people working in CD, and DD was less people. We were happier. But then the BIM came out and they were using CAD. And when BIM came out, that DD and CDs kind of evolves together. So when you start in, for example, Revit, you're starting with doing the CD from day one. And we have another evolution that we can see the SD, DD, and CD. Sometimes the PD gets all together on the AI, and we will be seeing a tool in the future, not far, can generate all of these together, connecting all of these other tools that are available and put it together as a one product, one prompt made one. Then we come to the what we do. Okay, Blueprints AI generates construction documents from prompts, and right now we are multimodal, which means we can get different type of input. We are SaaS. We don't need to install it. Anything is easy to learn. So as long as you know how to drag and drop with computer, how to type, you can do it. And the output is code companion. You can go and get a permit. We have situation with one prompt, the user could go and pull a permit, which is amazing. What we do right now is a big change from the past, like time that we talk here. Now we can put text input, drawing, we can input AutoCAD files, we can put BIM files, and we can put images in. And the blueprints understand all of these, and the output is going to be floor plan 2D. You can approve it. Then 3D, then blueprints, and everything are based on local. We have a small demo that I need to start it. Yeah. So how it works is the when we type in, we get the 3D model first, and we can add more images and more documents, even like raw zoning code, planning code. We can put it in and get the output from the blueprints. And the output is going to be, right now we can do PDF, CAD, Revit, and SketchUp is added. Okay. And our vision is mostly focused on the users and being inspired designers. So we're gonna make that drafting part, which is not that fun and we didn't sign up for. We went to school to do more like design work, not becoming either BIM manager or BIM drafter or AutoCAD drafter or BIM drafter. With having the speed of revisions and make them enabled to have more innovation, we want to have a bit better impact on the whole society. And what we see blueprints is more AI that is here to help. Is kind of like partner or a co-colleague or somebody that here for help. You need to manage it. You need to tell what you want, but it's here to make your work faster. What it gives the early adopters is they can do the revisions faster. The process that used to take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, they can do. We've seen that they can do it in a week, 2 or 2 weeks. And the other shift that we had, most of the companies in the past were based on, okay, I sell more seats. It's not based on the value they're bringing, it's based on how many people, how many hours are working the tool. Our model is going to be more beyond the hourly fee that the users can charge the clients. Is going to be more the value they're bringing, because the work that used to take 6 months, now they can do it in a week. They cannot charge a week. They need to charge based on what they know and how they can use this. And here is everybody who wants to connect with me. LinkedIn is the best way to talk to me. And we have a waitlist. If you want to try the tools, we have cohorts every week. We onboard the different type of different size of architecture companies or clients or developers, or even students. So we separate them in different cohorts, but they're welcome to join. And this was my presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Al. Great presentation. Very comprehensive, and I appreciate you sharing with us a bit of history and background into what you are doing and what you're building. Construction documentation is such a complex, process. So are you guys now focused on a specific part of it? Like, let's say, for example, putting the dimensions or tags or any specific part, or not really? You are working on the entire process.
This is a really good question. So we are focused on entire process. We're limited to type of project at this moment. Although we have users that are trying commercial projects, we are more focused on single families, ADUs, and that's how we are training on. But the output is going to be kind of inclusive. Everything is included, and the final product is something that you can submit to the city.
Wonderful. Great, thank you. So I'm going to ask a couple quick questions and then we can wrap up. So this is a question for all of you. I'm sure you have daily talks with your potential, customers and clients, and what they ask you. Maybe one of the questions is, so how can they choose you over your competitors? So if you can tell us, maybe without mentioning names, or if you want to mention names, that'd be also helpful, of who your competitors are, direct or indirect, and why should they go with you and your product rather than other individuals, or sometimes even larger companies, like in George's case, like Midjourney, for instance, or I don't know, some other AI tools. So what should they work with your platform rather than the other ones? So Rohit, do you want to take it first, and then we'll go by the same order?